Alright. New video. It's been a while, but let's get to work. Alright. Oh my god! This is taking forever! God, if only there was a way I could get the views and adoration I want, but I didn't have to do any actual effort. Thus, but the ravens dreamed and control have the grip of illusion on my temple for the being which walks through the earth.
Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Upon the graphics I did look, but unable to pontificate the response centers which people probe for answers was, because the optical centers viewed something under the given word of 1080p. Is there truly any existence? So the reflection audio-visual response is over. A negative eternal mark placed upon the stimulant referred to as Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. I'm Viral Vinnie, infect the internet with more useless opinions. Much better. Let's see how they like that. The fuck? You really expected that to work? It works for stupid indie games, so why can't I do it? Huh? Oh my god, indie games are so pretentious nowadays. It used to be awesome things like Metroid or Mario ripoffs, but then they got way too artsy and up their own ass and became less about the gameplay and how deep they can be. I thought you liked indie games. What? Where would you get a dumb idea like that?
They also try new things many bigger companies may have shied away from. I mean, look at the game Lingering Shadows. They have one game where you just play as the wind as itself.
Get this, Jack. You played the entire game as a raindrop. Where did you get that? You know it's on the internet, right? Like, literally anyone can watch it if they wanted to right now. Like, if someone were to click a link just somewhere on the screen, they could watch the video in its entirety. I wouldn't recommend it though. The amount of drugs and alcohol you would just have to pump into your body is it's unnatural. You'd pretty much be dead 4 times over before you could even watch 4 seconds of the video. Come to think about it, how did we even edit that one? We hired some guy, but what happened to him? Yeah, alright, look, I was a dumb, stupid, dumb, optimistic, handsome, good-looking, stupid young kid. I was really optimistic. I thought indie games were going to make gaming so much better. But as the middle tier fell away, there was much more pressure on them to do the things AAA games just couldn't do. With the middle tier, you had your choice of huge, expansive AAA games, less polished but still fun middle tier, and smaller but more personal handmade games. But when the middle tier disappeared, it meant indie games were competing directly against the big studios. So obviously they needed something to help make them stand out even more. But what? And then one piece of fucking shit game emerged from the fucking ass clouds of the ether. Peggle! You mean Limbo? That's... right, that's how the script goes? Yeah, page... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Limbo. No, because that would actually mean we have to acknowledge that it exists, and we're not going to. So, I don't know what you're talking about. But, I mean, if we did want to pretend that piece of shit maybe existed, there's no way I could talk about it in just a few sentences. Why, I need a whole review just to talk about it. But the point is, some game came out and people praised it, not because it was actually good or had an interesting story, but much more for its dark, gritty style and its tones and its themes than its actual gameplay, which led the way for games not to be about gameplay, but their style. Five Nights at Freddy's is just a dumb game where you watch cameras? Wrong! It's a deep game about child murder and mental issues. Hotline Miami is clearly a Smash TV ripoff. Wrong! It's a game about drugs and our reaction to violence. Paper Please is a game where you literally stamp papers. Wrong! It's about politics and rebellion. Even games that are clearly just ripoffs of other games are now considered so much more special. Look at games like Stardew Valley and Axiom Verge and Undertale and Don't Starve. Hell, look at games like Never Alone, which is just a standard platformer, but just because it's made by a native development team and it's about native themes, make it so much more special than games like The Cave, which has far better character designs. Even games like Apotheon, you can tell they spent all their money and all their energy into making the game look good as opposed to actually play good. Well, you know, for some of the games like Metroid or Earthbound, there's a 0% chance of us actually getting a real sanctioned game anytime soon, so why can't the fans do it? Like porn. Or DeviantArt. Or porn. Look, clearly they were never gonna ask the question, what would it be like if Pikachu had sex with Scooby-Doo? So that's why I had to take it into my own hands. You might have noticed there wasn't actually a picture there. That's because I'm actually afraid to Google it. Because I'm pretty sure I'll find it. You guys are weird. The worst part of all this overhype and praise is the fact that indie games are so up their ass now, they don't even have to do games anymore. They can just call it a walking simulator.
Coming next year, sitting simulators, where we put you an experience so engaging you don't even have to use controls. Simply sit there and we'll do the entire thing for you.
So, like a movie?
No, little person. Movies are corrupt and evil. We're indies, so clearly we know better than everyone else. Have you eaten a kale birthday cake?
That sounds really bad. I don't think I want that.
Then live in your narrow-minded box, just working for the man, little human.
I'm a boy.
We don't gender identify.
Now, I will give you, there are ways you can do that type of gameplay, and it's been proven to work very well in games, especially like the Stanley Parable. And, yeah, it was only a brief demo, but the fact that PT limited the fact that you had no weapons or you could physically see your body, the fact that there was so much limitations on what you could do as the player, that's what made the horror even better. I mean, you could argue the same point about Journey, that yeah, there's jump in and you can call your friends and flight your cape or whatever that game is about, but the point is, it can be done very well. And then there's games like Dear Esther, where you're just walking around an island, listening to voiceover and reading papers. But the thing is, that's a new type of gameplay. I'll give you that. We're still learning, we're still experimenting to see what we can and can't do with that type of gameplay. But something I will not excuse is all the blatant freaking cash grabs and all the freaking nostalgic trips people are going on by having their games be pixel arty.
West Middle, Yanhog, Void Riders, Duck Game, The Escapist, Tendensol, Towerfall, Gunpoint, Papers, Please, VVVV, The Last Survivor, Super Brothers, Sword and Sorcery EP, Terraria, Castle in the Darkness, Volgar the Viking, Deep Dungeon of Doom, Out There Somewhere, Environmental Station Alpha, Crawl, Downwell, IDAR, An Imp, A Fiend, 1001 Spikes, Ollie Ollie, A Ride into the Mountain, Proteus, Mutant Buds, Super Time Force, Sport Friend, Risk of Rain.
And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but 3D graphics are hard. It actually takes a lot of time and effort to make 3D graphics. Which, to be fair, it actually does. It's very hard. But by the same token, look at games like Transistor, or Bastion, or Cuphead, or Mark of the Ninja, or the Banner Saga. There's all these great games that don't rely on pixel art, but beautiful, amazing hand-drawn visuals. And the worst part is a lot of those games just use pixel arts as an excuse to look retro or old school. When there's games like Shovel Knight, which actually makes sense for it to be a pixel game, or The Adventure of Pip, which the point is you being a pixel boy and then growing up and becoming 8-bit and then 16-bit. Those games actually use the pixel style well, as opposed to just looking cool. I would joke about Thomas is Alone being a bunch of squares, but I actually haven't played that game, so I can't put my foot in my mouth. So why don't we whip out the old joke catalog. Let's see here. Sonic, Peter Molyneux, Stupid Sexy Squirtles. Ah, here we go.
Your balls are clean!
I'm sure that would have been funny in context? Probably? Ultimately, look, I'm not saying all indie games are bad. In fact, the opposite. There's a lot of great indie games. It's just, well, AAA games have all shifted to be as mainstream and as fill as many demographics as possible. Indie games have swung in the other direction, and they're way too focused on being artsy and emotional and engaging and other just stupid words for being pretentious. I'm not saying we can't have games like this. I know a lot of these games are made by first-time developers or small one- or two-man teams, that these games have been their dreams forever. I'm not saying not to do it, just next time, instead of trying to do a game about a dog trying to understand his own existence while he's trapped on a space station, fleeing a post-apocalyptic Earth because we destroyed it with pollution, how about a simple 3D platformer? You're telling me of all these rip-offs and remakes and all these other games, we only have 2 indie games to hold our hopes on? Ridiculous. I'm Viral Vinnie, finally infecting the internet with more useless opinions. And to those of you who still think I'm being hyperbolic, Fez, I win.
Number 8. 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 Number 8.
Who's your daddy?
Gotta go back to the menu, grabbing my script. It's not really a script, it's a bunch of pictures I took of the script.